So this is really beautiful, but I have no idea what I'm looking at.
This is the hardy kiwi. This is a very heavily pruned hardy kiwi.
Okay, so wait, I need to ask you to stop because a kiwi, the kiwis that I know are tropical fruits. They're fuzzy and they're delicious, but they cost a lot because they're imported from warm
New
parts
Zealand,
of the right.
other places.
But this is a kiwi that grows here?
Yep, this is a very close relative, and this is a hardy kiwi that will grow all the way up through the north of North America. And like I said, this is heavily pruned because it is a very strong, vigorous vine. Left out in the wild, I've seen them run and cover 100-foot trees. But with good pruning, you can get it into a beautiful, edible landscape plant where it can cover arbors, entryways, trellises. I mean, forget the grapes. This is where it's at. And these
Really?
are much tastier and much more beautiful and vigorous. I mean, look at the vine. Look at the red stems and the green leaves, holding its color here late in the season. I mean, this is gorgeous.
Well, I'm really intrigued by the great tasting part of it.
Ha! They are
should
delicious.
we go?
They are
Go
delicious.
have a little nibble?
Let's go look.
So this is huge, and it's trellised. I can totally see this sort of around the perimeter of a property, perhaps, or dividing space.
Or trellised
in between.
against a stone wall, running along the top. Again, on arbors and trellises, around houses, nice sitting areas in the back of the yard. I mean, in many different places. I mean, commercially, which is pretty much how it's trellised here, it's quite simple wiring. But you just need something that can take the weight, because this does get heavy. And again, you want to be able to access to prune this. You're going to want to probably prune this at least 4 times a year to get your maximum fruit off of it.
And how often will it fruit?
It'll fruit just one time heavily here in the season. It depends on the variety.
So this is gorgeous. And I've also been hearing that it's totally delicious. So I'm hoping that, are they ready to eat, or are we looking at immature fruit?
They ripen at different times during the...
Oh, look at that. It's tiny. It's a baby kiwi.
Yeah.
And it's a hairless. Looks like a kiwi, but without the fuzzy exterior. Tastes exactly like a regular kiwi. Really
That's
sweet.
sweeter. Yeah.
It should have a little bit more complex flavors.
And you don't have to worry about the fuzz. Just pop the whole thing in your mouth.
Wow. So I'm looking, this is really, I mean, they're all up through here. There's fruit everywhere. This is covered in fruit. It's like being in a grapevine, but
Copious.
kiwis instead of grapes.
Right?
That's why, and so I'm assuming that this is another one of these really hardy, low maintenance, doesn't need to be sprayed.
Yeah, the only maintenance is I think, is the pruning. Of course, they don't have to be pruned. In their native state, they'll just grow up trees and go up to the canopy, and when they finally spread out, then they'll start fruiting.
Right.
But this way,
You're
we
not
keep
gonna
them
get
down and manipulated.
Right. And I know as you get a little bit further north, a little bit cold, protecting the vines in the winter can be helpful. Wrapping them in a little bit of burlap to make sure that they actually, especially in their first years of growing, just to make sure that the actual vine isn't damaged during the cold. But once it gets established, it's fine.
This is beautiful. So I want to take a look at this again. You said that when they're a little wrinkled. So you're looking for, this is a good example? You're looking for something on the vine.
Right, that's starting to wrinkle. It's soft. Here's a perfect one. Looks a little ugly, but there it's ready.
Oh, and it just came off right away.
It just came right off, so that's perfectly right.
So it's like a raisin version.
Yeah. Well, it'll turn into a raisin.
Oh my gosh, this one is so much sweeter than the one. Oh, it reminds me of a Concord grape.
They will increase in sweetness as they get riper and riper.
Wow.
And you were saying that
that's
they
delicious.
will produce throughout the season, and I mean the same bush, so to say, the same vine will continue to produce at different times, or is it going to give you one big harvest?
You'll pick them up, like in about next week at this time, there'll be probably 50% of these wrinkled.
I see.
Wow.
And then after that, then the last of them start to wrinkle up and
Sweeten up. Sweeten up, shall we say.
So do you only eat these when they are fresh? Can you, I mean, I've never heard of anybody cooking a kiwi or preserving a kiwi, but can you do that if you have all this?
They do make fairly good raisins.
Raisins?
So you can cut them in half and put them in a dehydrator. You can also freeze them if they're perfectly ripe. You have too many of them. Just fresh freeze them into a jar, and then use them in the wintertime.